involves faith. So consider building patience and faith. Okay, let me read it again. So 1, 2, 3. James 1, 2, 3. Okay? Next time you get mad, just Google it. By the time you Google it, your temper already passed by. So consider building patience and faith through activities such as study or prayer. As you study and meditate on scriptures, not only you store valuable knowledge, but you practice patience. When we were little kids, Mass seemed like it took like 10 hours. But you kept going to Mass, kept going to Mass, kept going to daily Mass, kept going to Holy Hour. Now you can go to Mass twice a day. Right? Build your patience through prayer, through the rosary, through Mass, through confessions. I keep saying it all the time. Catholicism is rich and beautiful. We have all these sacraments, man. If you're bored, there's no way you can be bored because there's go to confession. You're bored, go to Mass. You're bored, go to Holy Hour. Alright? Lastly, as we conclude, there's another realm, another world of patience, being impatient. And that's when we need to control our anger. You know, my mom's here, my Tita's here, Tita Gina's here, you know, CC's here, they goodness. You know, I'm like Incredible Hulk. When I'm hungry or when I'm sleepy or just anything, I just turn green, I turn red. And I lose my temper quickly. But you know what they say, as I share you my testimony and as our next sharer later on will share hers, Jesus doesn't call the qualified, but he qualifies the call. And you know, just short temper equals short patience. Period. Alright? If you're short tempered, you're impatient. If you're impatient, most likely you're short tempered. So let me ask you, have you ever been with people when they're always having a stressed out moment? Like always? Cici, you know, yes, Mom, yes. Regina, Connie, yes. Because that was me. You know someone else who's like that? Someone who is tense, frustrated, and short with others? They're not pleasant to be around, right? It's like walking on eggshells. Man, this guy might get mad. Or he might get mad. It's not a good feeling, right? It seems like you're always walking on eggshells. It's not a good feeling. And with that, I want to tell you a short story. There was once a little boy who had a bad temper problem, right? So his father gave him a bag of nails and told him that every time he loses his temper, he's going to grab a nail and pop it, or do it in the fence, right? He must hammer a nail into the back of the fence. The first day, man, the little boy lost his temper 37 times. So 37 times, right? He nailed on the fence. But over the next few weeks, he learned to control his anger. So the number of nails went from 37 to 35 to 20 or 18 to 1. Until one day, he didn't lose his temper at all. So excitedly, he went to his dad and said, "Hey, Father, I didn't lose my temper today." So the father said in return, and told him that the boy must now pull one nail. So there's about 100 something. So he must pull one nail each day whenever he's able to hold his temper. So he did just that. Days passed by and the little boy was finally able to tell his father that all the nails were gone. And here's the thing. The father took his son by hand and led him to the fence and said, "You have done well, my son. But look at the holes in the fence. Look at the holes in the fence. More than 100 of them. The fence will never be the same. When you say things in anger, they leave a scar, just like the holes in the fence, my dear brothers and sisters. It won't matter how many times you say I'm sorry, or how many times you don't lose your temper. At the end of the day, that fence, that hole, and that fence remain forever. And it just won't matter how many times you say sorry. It's always going to be there. So what I'm trying to say is patience. Not only love is patience, but patience is the antidote to anger. I should hear that again. Patience is the antidote to anger. If you work on your patience, subconsciously you're going to work on your temper. And if you work on your temper, subconsciously you're going to love more. And if you love more, we always say at the feast that God is love. And that love is God. So the The more you get to know God, my dear brothers and sisters, the more you get to know who you are. That's when I realized. The more I serve God, the more I pray, the more I became closer to God, I realized my shortcomings. I was more aware of my impatience, my short temper. Because the closer you walk into His light, the more your weakness and vices are revealed. And I realized that my lack of perseverance and the virtue of patience was not just a problem for me. Not only when you get a heart attack and die soon because of a heart attack or blood pressure, but this weakness of impatience and temper affects other people. People I love, that I'm supposed to love, like my wife, my aunt, Gina, especially my mom. You know, when I was losing my temper, I was not free to love my parents. I was not free to love my brother. But most of all, I wasn't free to love my wife. And if I don't change, I'm not going to be free to love my son when he is born. Every time I lose my temper, I lose love. And my lack of patience prevented me from treating them the way they deserve. Do you have a temper problem? Do you lack patience? It's not only your problem. It's the problem of people you love. And it affects every one of them. God is love. Love is God. Without patience, love isn't 100%. When we lose temper over little things, we negatively affect the people around us. And when we abandon the pursuit of becoming patient because it's difficult or hard to do and demands a lot of us, we are not the kind of people upon whom others can rely. So we have to cultivate the virtue of patience in our lives. Amen?
Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
We all stand up. And as we reflect, just watching that video, and as we sing this next beautiful song, let's reflect. Let's do a little reflection. And think about this. Think to yourself, who are the people who test your patience? Don't look next to you. Or just think. Who are the people who test your patience? Who are the people who develops your patience? Okay? God is good. He knew I had a temper problem. Not only He gave me CC, He gave me to the beat. So patient. I've never seen Him mad. Alright? So like I said earlier, when you ask God for something according to His will, He will give it to you. So if you're impatient, think about those persons who just test you. But then again, think about those people who God bless you with. Because they're the ones going to get you to heaven. Right? Maybe you have a wife who keeps praying for you. You probably don't go to church. You hate going to church. But you have a wife that prays for you. And the very same wife that annoys you, just think about her. The very same husband that annoys you, think about them. And reflect on your shortcomings and your impatience. And most of all, reflect on this Bible passage. Next slide. Colossians 1:1. God will strengthen you with His own great power so that you will never and not give up when troubles come. But you will be patient. You know, I didn't finish the story earlier, the boy on the fence. It ended when the little boy that understood the power of his words, he looked up to his father and said, "Dad, I hope you can forgive me, Father, for the holes I put in you." And the father said, "Of course I can." So you might have long line of fence full of holes, but guess what? Lord, who is currently present right here now, is already telling you that He's forgiven you. And then with His power, and if you try, you will be more patient. You will be less angry, and you will love more. Just like that little kid. God gave us the gift of life. He set the pavement for us, clear, very free. Well, what do we do sometimes? we just step on it. We are so impatient that we're so ready to jump in the road that God gave us, that we will just step on it, not even ready. So let's remain patient. But just like that father in that video, he didn't get mad. He just patiently smiled, carried his son or his grandson out of that messed up road. Think about it. We steer off the road that God paved us, but He's always there to put us back on track. So think about that kid, that's you. Think about that kid with the fence, that's you. Think about the Father, that's God. And reflect on this song. Open your hearts and mind and just reflect. And if you feel called, raise your hands, honor and glory to the Lord, and sing this song. God's going to bless you in this time. Worship Him. Tell Him you love Him. Reflecting on this beautiful song, I just want to introduce you our sisters in Christ, Sis.Queenie, and as she shares a few moments of her time, just giving her testimony when it comes to patience and love. And here you go, Queenie.
Thank you, Dan. Let's give Dan a round of applause. Surely we can see how anointed he is and how much wisdom he has. So it's it's an awesome, awesome blessing for me, and I'm sure for all of you to be preached by somebody like him. So again, thank you so much. I admire you, and when I grow up, I want to be like you. So I will patiently work on myself. Again, good evening, brothers and sisters. I'm so glad that our topic tonight is about patience. I'm all over the place right now. I came home about 2 a.m. this morning, so I'm still, loopy. So I hope you will bear with me. But anyway, when Dan asked me to share with you about a testimony on patience, I laughed at him. I said, "Why me?" And you know what he told me? He goes, "I know you're not patient, just like me, I'm not patient." So I said, "Why are we talking about patience then?" But he said, "No, you've shared some stories with me about your life that truly manifest patience, and I'd like for you to have a moment to share it with the rest of our Light of Jesus family." And so I trust that somehow you can, learn something about my story. Again, I grew up as a Catholic, and I've been God-fearing ever since I was small. My mom raised me to always be in church, always praying. As a little girl, I maybe questioned some of the practices of the Catholics. We have so many traditions. But I patiently joined her. I patiently listened to a lot of it. Growing up, even when I had questions, little did I know that as I get older, a lot of what I've learned encrypted in me, and it's unconsciously is coming out, every time I go through challenges in life. And, I am just so blessed to have a God that is so good all the time. In my life, I've always trusted God. And patience is, to me, my definition of patience is that being trusting in God's plan. That's pretty much how I would define patience. I know that I am not good without Him. I know that I may make plans in my life, but it's not going to happen the way I planned it. But when I lift up everything that I need to be lifting up to Him and trust in His plans, then, I know that I can wait patiently and things are going to work out better for me. So one story that I can focus on when it comes to it, an example of patience in my life is about me and my husband. Where are you with your husband? He doesn't know I'm going to be talking about him. A couple of years ago, he went through a midlife crisis. So he started worrying about our finances, and I am one person who doesn't believe that families should be far apart because of money. To me, that's not justifiable. To me, there's always ways, sacrificing, but the families need to be together. But like what I said, he started worrying. And at that moment, I told him, "What are you worried about?" He said, "I'm going to be 40 and have nothing to show for it. Nothing's going on with my life." And I said, "Why don't you look back? We have such great memories. We did a lot of great things with the kids. So why don't we focus on that?"